In 2154, the world was plagued by overpopulation, pollution, and extreme social inequality, making a lot of people affected by disease and living miserably. Meanwhile, the wealthiest people lived aboard the opulent space station called Elysium. The rich people live in a cozy green and very modern settlement there. For a while, the citizens of Elysium came down to Earth to oversee their business. Inside Elysium, people enjoy a very luxurious lifestyle. Not a single person was disabled or affected by the disease because there were medical capsules inside Elysium that could cure all kinds of conditions. On the other hand, the destitute masses were struggling to survive on a decaying Earth. On Earth, an orphan named Max DaCosta promised his friend Frey that one day Max would take Frey to Elysium. 15 years later, Max, who had now grown up, was getting ready to go to his workplace. Max was a former car thief turned factory worker who resided in the slums of Los Angeles. But on the way, Max and other citizens were searched by police robots conducting a patrol. Max tried to resist, but as a result, he was beaten until his arm was injured. Max went to the clinic to treat the injury on his arm. In the crowded clinic, Max reunited with his childhood friend Frey. Frey was now a nurse, so he was happy to see Frey again after a long separation. Max also asked Frey to dinner tomorrow after work. Max then rushed to his workplace. Max, who was late, was immediately scolded by the foreman, who threatened to cut Max's salary for leaving late. Max worked at Armadine Corp, a technology company that makes robots and various upstairs. The company's CEO, John Carlyle, watched the workers from afar. Here, Max was tasked with baking robots in a radiation chamber. In the middle of the city of Los Angeles, a hacker named Spider and his men brought several civilians with fake identities on their arms into 4 space shuttles. Spider sent the space shuttle flying towards Elysium through illegal channels. Inside Elysium, Defense Secretary Delacourt received a report that 4 unknown aircraft were flying near Elysium. Delacourt immediately ordered a secret agent named Kruger, currently on Earth, to fire destructive missiles. The missiles succeeded in destroying 3 spacecrafts, killing everyone on board. One spacecraft managed to avoid and make an emergency landing on the surface of Elysium. Several robot troops were sent to capture everyone on the shuttle that does reach Elysium arrested and deported. On board, a mother brought her disabled child to an empty house. The mother then placed her child in a medical capsule. The capsule accepted the false identity given. The capsule immediately began treatment. After it was completed, miraculously, the child who had been disabled could now walk again, but they were both captured by police robots. The illegal visitors were sent back to Earth. Max, who has just returned from work, was met by his friend Julio. Julio invited Max to steal a car like they did long ago, but Max refused. Max didn't want to go to jail again. Max just wanted to live life like an average person in general. The next day, Max again got ready to go to work. Max worked as usual, but the radiation room door couldn't close this time because of something. The cheeky foreman met Max. The foreman told Max to fix the door, otherwise he would sack Max and find someone else to replace him. Max didn't want to lose his job and was forced into the radiation room to remove the object blocking the door. Suddenly, the door closed. Max was trapped inside. Next was baked in radiation. No one could save him. Moments later, the radiation room opened. A robot took Max to the medical room. The robot told Max that Max had been exposed to a lethal radiation dose. In 5 days, all the organs in Max's body would be damaged. Max would die in 5 days. From inside the room, Max saw Carlyle, who did not care about his condition. Carlyle told the foreman to remove Max immediately because he was dirtying the factory. Inside, Max got medicine to walk again, but in 5 days, he would still die. Inside Elysium, Delacourt was put on trial by President Patel, the president of Elysium. President Patel did not like Delacourt's behavior, which destroyed 3 aircraft independently. President Patel also didn't like that Delacourt still employed the hazardous psychopathic agent Kruger. Delacourt argued that what he did was solely to protect his children and grandchildren living in Elysium. But President Patel still warned that if Delacourt acted carelessly again, Patel would not hesitate to fire him from the ministry. On Earth, Max limped back to his house. Julio, who was worried, immediately helped Max bring him into the home. Max explained that in 5 days he would die from exposure to deadly radiation. Max then remembered the medical capsule inside Elysium that could cure all diseases. Max knew the hacker Spider, who could help him fly to Elysium. Max and his friend Julio approached Spider. Inside the hospital, Frey looked at his daughter Matilda, who was suffering from leukemia. The doctor at the hospital told Frey to take her home because the hospital could not accommodate more patients. Elsewhere, Julio helped Max meet Spider inside his base. In front of Spider, Max asked Spider to help him fly to Elysium. Spider couldn't help Max just like that because the cost with a considerable risk was prohibitive. Spider also had an idea. if Max could successfully steal information from a powerful Elysium citizen. In exchange, Spider would give Max a shuttle ride to Elysium to use a med bay to cure his condition. Spider asked Max to help him carry out a mission, namely to steal the data in the brain of one of the wealthy Elysium citizens who came down to Earth because in the brain of the rich man there were bank account data, passwords, and login data worth billions of dollars. Max agreed on the condition that the person who would be invited to his brain was Carlisle, his former boss. Seeing Max's weak body condition, Spider provides Max with a powerful exoskeleton via surgery to significantly increase his strength and stamina so that he was ready for action. Inside Elysium, Delacourt had a secret meeting with Carlisle, and it turned out that Carlisle was the one who designed and built the central computer system in Elysium. Delacourt asked Carlisle for help to reprogram the system in Elysium to make Delacourt the president. In exchange for Elysium would cooperate exclusively with Carlisle's company for the next 200 years. Carlisle agreed. Carlisle would go to Earth to retrieve and store Elysium's essential data in his brain and then return to Elysium to carry out this coup. On Earth, Spider ordered his men to install a device in Max's head to store the contents of the target's brain later and install armor on Max's body so that he could move agilely to carry out the mission. The next day, Max regained consciousness. In the factory, Carlisle downloaded the program to restart Elysium in his brain with the help of a device, and the program was given deadly protection. Max, Julio, and 2 of Spider's men were getting ready for action elsewhere. The 4 of them immediately rushed to Carlisle's factory. Once there, they saw the shuttle Carlisle was flying to Elysium. Max directly attached a bomb to the fuselage after moving away from the factory. The bomb was detonated. The aircraft was forced to make an emergency landing. Knowing the incident that happened to Carlisle, Delacourt immediately called Kruger, asking Kruger to protect Carlisle, who was in trouble. Delacourt sent a plane and 2 of Kruger's men to carry out this mission. Meanwhile, Max and the others prepared around Carlisle's shuttle. 2 police robots came out of the aircraft shooting at Max. Max also countered the attack with box bullets. The attack succeeded in destroying one of the police robots. Max and Julio then broke into the plane to get Carlisle out. Suddenly, a police robot appeared, shooting at them. Spider's men attacked the police robot mindlessly until it hit Carlisle's chest. Max then beat the robot with his bare hands. With difficulty, Max pulled out the robot's head to disable it. Max then checked on Carlisle's dying condition. They rushed to download the contents of Carlisle's brain and put it into Max's head. The data transfer process was completed and the data successfully entered Max's head. But it turned out that the data was protected, no one could access it. Suddenly, Kruger's plane arrives at the location. At the same time, Max experienced a severe headache. Kruger then shot Spider's fleeing men and blew them up. Julio carried Max into the car, but Kruger blew the car upside down. Kruger also shot at Max's colleagues who tried to escape. After Max got out of the vehicle, Kruger immediately approached him. When Max was pressed, Julio attacked Kruger. As a result, Kruger stabbed Julio to death. Max shot at Kruger with bomb bullets, but Kruger managed to dodge using a shield. Seeing his opportunity, Max ran away. Delacourt told Kruger to chase Max until he could because Max had stolen essential data in his head. Carlisle finally died from a gunshot wound. An injured Max escaped with a copy of the coup program while Carlisle's death destroyed any possibility of further retrieval from his brain. Limping, Max tried to escape to the city's center. In the huddle, Kruger realized that Max had stolen data that could reprogram Elysium. Kruger then sent several surveillance drones to all corners of the city. Inside Elysium, Delacourt ordered his men to turn off the flight system. No one was allowed to fly into the sky before Max was captured. Elsewhere, Spider was shocked to see the flight system disabled by the government. In front of the hospital, Frey found Max, who was helpless. Frey took Max to his house for treatment. Frey treated the wounds on Max's body. The next day, Max regained consciousness. Max told Frey that he was dying. Max planned to ask Spider for help to take him into Elysium to cure the radiation in his body. Hearing this, Frey begged Max to bring Matilda along because her daughter had leukemia. But Max refused because it was hazardous to go up himself, not knowing whether he would succeed. Max then left Frey just like that. On the street, Max saw Kruger's drone following him. Max immediately threw the drone down. Kruger, who already knew Max's position, directly landed his aircraft and entered Frey's house. Kruger interrogated Frey about where Max had gone. Frey, frightened, replied that he knew nothing about the arena Max just left. An upset Kruger and his son put them on the plane to be held hostage. Max entered Spider's headquarters. Max forces Spider to send him to Elysium because he has completed the mission. Spider couldn't do it because the government has blocked flights into space. Undoubtedly, the information inside Max's head was so valuable that the government stopped space flights. Spider also tried to check the data in Max's head. Spider was surprised to see that the data was data that could take over the entire system in Elysium. With that data, Spider can make all Earthlings into citizens of Elysium. That data could save everyone. Max then asked when they could fly to Elysium. Spider replied that Spider could hack the flight system for at least 5 days to be opened again. Max was angry because he didn't have that much time. Max would soon die from radiation. Max then said he would go to Elysium at all costs when he got there and healed himself. Max would hand over all the data to Spider. Before Max left, Spider put a tracking device on Max's back. Max then walked back to Kruger's drone to signal. Kruger, who saw the broadcast on his drone, immediately landed the aircraft to approach Max. After landing, Max told Kruger that if he surrendered, Max would go wherever Kruger took him. Kruger then brought Max into the aircraft and reported to Delacourt that he had captured Max. Delacourt also reopened the flight system to space. Delacourt told Kruger to take Max to fly to Elysium. Spider then realized that the flight system had reopened. After checking the tracking device, Spider saw Max flying towards Elysium. Spider immediately prepared troops and passed after Max to Elysium. When Kruger's shuttle was about to land at Elysium, there was tension. Max threw a grenade at Kruger and destroyed his face, and the aircraft made an emergency landing in Elysium. Max tries to get Fred and his daughter out of the plane, but he was beaten unconscious by Kruger's men. Outside, Frey took Matilda into one of the houses. Frey put his daughter in a med bay. Still, the capsule detected that Frey's daughter had no Elysium citizen identity. The capsule could not be used. Sometime later, Max woke up in the Elysium data center. Delacourt told officers to download the data in Max's head. Still, the risk was that if the data was forcibly downloaded, Max's brain would be damaged or Max would die. Delacourt didn't care. She still wanted the data. Outside, Spider and his men managed to land in Elysium. They also rushed to track Max's whereabouts. Elsewhere, Kruger's men put Frey and his daughter in prison. They then put Kruger's body into a medical capsule. It turned out that Kruger's heart was beating. The medical capsule permanently repaired the damage on Kruger's face, healing all the wounds on his body. Kruger regained consciousness. Inside the data center, Max managed to escape. Max asked where they caught Frey. The officer there told him where Frey was being held. Max immediately rushed to save Frey. Delacourt met Kruger. Delacourt was angry because Kruger could not carry out this mission secretly and instead made a mess. Surprisingly, Kruger even stabbed Delacourt in the neck to death. Kruger intended to control Elysium with the data in Max's head. Kruger's men immediately attacked the Elysium control center and struck the politicians. Max then saw Spider on the CCTV screen. Max contacted Spider to tell him where his location was. On the other hand, Kruger put robotic armor on his body. Kruger then left to find Max's whereabouts when Kruger's men were about to approach Frey. Max immediately appeared to save Frey. Max beat Kruger's men. Max took a gun and shot it to destruction. Max then took Frey and Matilda to escape. Max told Frey to go to the surface to put his daughter in a medical capsule. Max himself would access the Elysium System Center so that Matilda could be healed. In the hallway, Max met Spider and his men. Max told Spider's men to help Frey and her daughter. Simultaneously, Spider followed Max to the Elysium System Center room. They began to move towards the center of the Elysium system. Suddenly, Kruger appeared and immediately attacked them. Max tried to shoot at Kruger, but Kruger took cover using a shield. Max and Spider immediately moved to escape towards the Elysium System Center room. Kruger, who had recovered, jumped to stop Max. Max and Kruger fought fiercely. Max was helpless against the much stronger Kruger. Max tried to fight back, but Kruger kicked Max to the point of helplessness. Seeing his body bleeding, Max, who was angry, jumped straight to release the armor cable on the Kruger's head. Seeing Kruger helpless, Max threw a grenade on Kruger's body. The bomb exploded, destroying Kruger's body. Spider then immediately pampered Max into the central room of the Elysium system. On the surface, he ran carrying his dying daughter to the medical capsule. In the central room of the Elysium system, when Spider downloaded the data in Max's head, Spider told him that this action would kill Max. Max wouldn't survive. But Max still forced Spider to do it. Max wanted Spider to make everyone on Earth a citizen of Elysium. Max called Frey to say goodbye one last time. Max wanted what he did to be helpful for all humankind. Spider then began downloading and reprogramming Elysium. Max was finally killed. President Patel and the police then entered to capture the Spider. But they were unable to arrest Spider, as everyone on Earth was now considered a citizen of Elysium. Matilda also has been detected as a citizen of Elysium. The medical capsule also processes the healing of leukemia in her body. After completion, Matilda regained consciousness. She was as healthy as before. In the central room of the system, the robots then came to arrest Spider. It turned out that Spider had programmed that he was currently the president of Elysium. Spider sent dozens of medical shuttles to Earth that would save Earthlings suffering from severe illnesses. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below, and if you liked the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you in the next video.